Welcome back to Houston Life. Most Houstonians know the name and voice of radio personality Sarah Pepper.
And Sarah Pepper has been part of our Houston community for nearly 2 decades. She's about to make a big change.
She has one of the most distinctive voices on the radio, Sarah Pepper.
Sarah Pepper, Jesse Watt here on Mix 96.5.
The popular radio personality first hit the airwaves in Houston 16 years ago in 2008. She's not only a beloved figure in the Houston radio scene, she has also become a bona fide Houstonian, lending her time and talents to support countless community organizations and events. And starting shortly after our show's premiere in 2016, Sarah has been a regular guest on Houston Life, covering trending topics and eventually filling in as co-host. She's always down for a good laugh. Sarah is also an open book, very publicly discussing her struggles and heartbreak with IVF that eventually had a happy ending and led to the birth of her daughter, Parker, who is now 5 years old. Sarah Pepper is closing one chapter and opening a new one. She'll soon be starting a new job and moving home to Indiana to care for her mother. But first, she's making one final stop at Houston Life. Okay, you can't help but smile.
Well, that was unkind.
Did he do that?
I am crying right
You
now.
were crying. I'm sorry.
Oh no, that was kind.
That's a Derek Shore touch.
That was a Derek Shore.
No,
But he does it. You make it easy to do
wasn't
that
me.
with all of those memories. Oh my
Sarah.
God.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna miss you so much.
And I'm not even a hugger. I don't even like him.
I don't know if we've ever hugged in all of our years.
No,
of
I didn't even know if it
knowing
was appropriate. I thought about it and then thought, you know
cares?
what?
Just do
I'm
what you
leaving. Let's go.
No, our producer Sabiha put that together, but it was so fun looking back through Lauren Kelly's photos
Those are
with
good,
you and
yes.
your photos on your Instagram because Sarah, you've done it all. And 16 years ago, I mean, that was a long time ago. Doesn't it feel like yesterday though at the same time?
It does, and it doesn't all at the same time. My mom and I were talking about this yesterday. Now that I'm leaving, it doesn't feel like as long as it was the first time. It feels like it was just yesterday. But when you're in that moment and you're doing everything, it feels so long.
Oh my gosh.
It really does.
I didn't realize the connection between you and Lauren Kelly was so strong.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
so we always talk about Lauren's the best in the field at what she does, but her background is really in this radio, you making all these memories with the radio. I mean, your listeners have to be besides themselves right now.
I think that it's definitely going to be an adjustment and a change, but you know, we've all worked in media for a very long time, and Jessie Watt is fantastic. She's amazingly talented, and I think she's going to do great things. And Lauren and I, she was my first friend that I met in Houston. I mean, the first day that I was in town, I met her at the radio station. I was going to go back to my hotel, and she said, absolutely not. And she took me to the Roxy. And looking back now, I'm like, Lauren. And she let me go in the outfit I was wearing, which I knew meant she loved me because I was wearing a polo from Old Navy and some very not cute jeans.
Great first friend
My
to meet.
clothes had not arrived yet, and she was just fantastic. And she said, "You look beautiful." I'm like, "You're a liar, but I love it."
Oh my gosh, Lauren Kelly, what a great friend to meet. Okay, do you have, I mean.
Well, Sarah Pepper is always down for a good time. I remember the first time we had dinner together and we had a martini and then we had another one
Yes.
and we had another one. And I said, Sarah, you have to get up so early. You have to get up in like 10 minutes to go to work. And somehow you can do it all. And I remember moving here before we had dinner. What You Doing at the Courthouse is one of the most popular segments on the radio. I mean, people would tune in. That was appointment listening.
Wow.
And Sarah, it's hard for me to imagine you doing anything else, but you can imagine doing something else now.
I can, and I think that was a very hard place for me to get because so much of who I am is what I do. And for my whole life, I was Sarah Pepper, last name, on the radio. And I think what I'm very excited about in this next chapter of my life is being Sarah Pepper, Parker's mom, and Sarah Pepper, Cindy Pepper's daughter, and Jennifer Pepper's sister, and whatever the next half of my life holds, I'm excited to see what that next last name is going to be for me.
You lean into the mom role and the daughter role so well, and you're just fearless going forward. You were giving us a great analogy because you said you had a pep talk with your friend, and
Yes.
she told you something so interesting about life and not being so tied up into your media personality.
Yes.
Can you share that? Because I thought it was nailed.
Okay, it's my best friend Holly. I've known her since I was 15 years old, and she explained to me that we are entering the part of our life that is halftime, right? We're not midlife, we're halftime. And this is the time in our life where we're going to go into the locker room and we're going to make some changes on the roster that we have of the people in our life. And some people are going to get cut and some people are going to get traded, and we're going to add new people, and we're going to make notes on the board of the mistakes we made in the first half and the things we really loved and we want to pursue. And then we're going to come out in the second half, and I can't say the next part because it's not made for television, but we're really going to give it to them in the second half because this is halftime. And I think we have to look at it like that, is that, you know, your life is always evolving and you're not just one thing in your life. You can be truly anything you want to be, and it doesn't matter if you're 4 or 44. You have to just make that decision, and the hardest part of that is just making the decision and starting. It's not tough finishing. It's not tough while you're in it. It's starting.
Wow.
It's such a great analogy. And I also think that a lot of people just sort of stay in their comfort zone, and they stay like, oh, well, I already did this thing for so many years and I've been friends with these people.
Right,
So,
and this
like,
is what I know.
Right, so I can't change, but sometimes the best growth comes through change, right?
It does, and I think a part of me looked at me going back to my hometown as maybe I didn't succeed, or maybe that I failed, and that was really hard for me to come to grips with, is thinking that I had failed in some way, shape, or form. And what I realized is the only person judging my success and my failure is myself. And if I'm happy with my decision, I'm happy with what I'm going to be doing next, which I am very much so, then I haven't failed, because no one judges that success and failure in our life but us. We're the only scorecard that we should be keeping, and I think right now I've got like a B minus.
You're
You don't want to give yourself
girl.
an A, but I think that's very hard, especially for women and moms and all of us that are working and trying to find that marriage between being a mom and being successful in our career. We feel like we can't have it all, and I think you can. You just have to decide what that all is.
Wow.
Okay, we're going to put a pin in that for just a moment. Take a
Just
quick
a second.
commercial break. We got to chat about your daughter Parker, more about your mom, and more about what's next for Sarah Pepper.
Yeah,
All
she's
right.
staying with us. Houston Life will be right back.
We are back with Sarah Pepper from the Morning Mix on Mix 96.5. We were just chatting about what you doing at the courthouse during commercial break. Seriously, one of the greatest radio
Iconic.
segments of all time. Iconic. So Parker's 5 now. your
She
daughter.
is. I can't believe it.
And I remember when you were being very public about your journey through IVF, the struggles, the heartbreak, going home when you miscarried initially. And here we are, fast forward, and you're a full-fledged mom, having all the feels and all of the challenges of being a mom. How's it going?
It's going really well. This is her playing soccer. It's her favorite part of soccer, is posing for the photos and putting her shin guards on.
It's adorable.
Everything in between is not really her favorite thing. But
I'm ready for soccer. Take my picture.
yes, exactly. And it seems like yesterday it was just that little chubby-cheeked little girl, and it really does go by so fast. And people will tell you that once you get through it, you forget how hard it was, and you really do. Like, I know that all those times existed. I know how hard it was. It was 6 years of shots and surgeries and, you know,
Yeah.
false negatives and false positives and false hope and all of those things. And then I look at her and I think to myself, you were worth every bit of it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you really push mommy's buttons, but you were worth every bit
She
of
wants
it.
ice cream before dinner, is that true?
Every night, because Nana, my mother, lets her have ice cream when I have
Cindy.
to work late, and she's like, Nana's better than you. I'm like, first off, I can drive at night, so let's start there, okay?
She's brutally honest. I wonder where she
She
gets
is.
that from.
I can't imagine
That
where
is so
where that
crazy.
spunkiness comes from.
It's so wild. Okay,
Yes.
So what are you going to do away from us? What are your plans? Because I think people are like itching to know.
I am going to be going to work with children and a foundation that raises money for kids and try to make the world a better place through starting with kids starting in kindergarten. I want to even the playing field for children and their opportunities that they have, and ensure that every child has shoes when they go to school, and food and clothes and snacks when they get home, and just basic necessities that we all take for granted are battles these kids are fighting before they ever even get into school. And that's one of the things that I fell in love with while working in Houston, with working with the kids in Dickinson and Clear Creek and all of those schools, McAdams Junior High. They were all little, I guess, signs on the road that said that this is eventually where you were going to end up. And the philanthropic work that I did here let me know that that was my passion, was to to help.
This is perfect, Sarah, for you because aside from the fact that you were perfect, for radio and TV, your community involvement here, I am blown away still. You do your radio show and you make it all over town. You're a daughter, you're a mom. You are constantly out there doing something and doing something that is giving back to Houston and making Houston a stronger city.
Well, I had a very wise mentor named Brad Booker who told me very early on in my career that if you're going to ask people to invest in you and your life and with you every single morning, you need to reciprocate that love and invest right back into them. So my only goal when I got to Houston was to invest as much as you did to me, and I hope that I leave Houston a better place because I know I'm leaving a better woman.
Yeah. And the Houstonians will miss you. What is one memory that you're going to take away from there?
Man, I keep watching those photos that Lauren found, and I think to myself, some of those we promised we were never going to show in public, but that's fine. I'm going to miss Pride here in Houston. It's one of my favorite things. Rodeo, the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, nobody does it better than the rodeo. I'll be back for the marathon, so it'll be exciting to be back for that, but you can't pick one.
Yeah, true.
Take a quick break.
True.
We'll be right back. We were just chatting during the break from the early days of Houston life to the 1-year anniversary. I mean, you were so nice to come to the mall all those times to visit us.
You are the only person that I will try to find a parking spot at the Galleria for. And that is a true story.
Incredible.
That is the nicest thing anyone has ever said. Hey, so if people want to stay in touch with you, Instagram is the best way, is that right?
At Real Sarah Pepper. I'll be posting as soon as I get unpacked.
Okay,
Awesome.
best of luck to you. Your mom, little 5-year-old Parker, will miss you. We love you.
You too. Love you. Love you.
All the love.
Congrats. All right, y'all.
See y'all tomorrow.
Bye.